Hello students, today's our topic is environment, in which we will discuss about interrelationship. Interrelationship of what? As you know, in our previous lecture we have seen the components of ecosystem, which are biotic and abiotic. So this kind of interrelationship is also found amongst biota as well as in between biota and abiotic. So first we will discuss about the relationship or interrelationship among biota. So today's our subtopic is interrelationship among biota. So let us start this one. As you know, in the living components, all the producers, consumers and decomposers are found. They show various kind of interrelationships. Basically, we all are dependent to get energy from each other because we all are herbivore, except producers. Producers can synthesize their own food, so they are autotrophs. Rest of the organisms are either basically they are heterotrophs, so they are dependent on plants to obtain their food. So if we can see the interrelationship, that is basically because of food and other basic needs like shelter and mate. Let us discuss about the interrelationship. The first interrelationship is known as mutualism. It's also known as symbiosis. The discussion regarding this. It's an interrelationship which is found in between two dissimilar organisms where both the partners are mutually benefited from each other. Or you can say this one is positive kind of interrelationship where one get benefit from other. So it's a relationship between two different organisms where both are benefited. This one is the fantastic example of the organisms which can live in the extreme condition like lichens. There is no water in the and no minerals are found, although they can survive. I will take the example of lichens here. These are found in the extreme condition where there's, as I told you, there's no water, no minerals. These are basically plants, the mutualism of plants. What kind of plants are there? Algae and fungi. So you can say it's a symbiotic association of algae and fungi where algae or algal partner can synthesize its own food. So it's this one is called as phycobiont. This is only the partner that can synthesize its own food, so it's autotrophic in nature. While fungi, as you know, it's known as mycobiont partner. It's you know very well, it's heterotrophic or you can say saprotrophic in nature. Both can live in the extreme condition, as I told you, on rocks. They can live under the snow where no vegetation is found, but they can survive. How? The question can rise like this. Now the answer is, as you know, algae can synthesize its own food, so this one can synthesize its food, but the problem is minerals, water and mineral. How these are obtained? So these minerals and water can provided by fungi. Fungi can drag water and minerals, it can provide water and minerals. So that kind of raw material, water plus minerals. This is the responsibility of fungi. Anyhow, it will arrange water and mineral. Just I can tell the example, like fungi can form haustoria through which it can absorb water from humidity. If in the air a little bit amount of water is found, they can absorb them. And what about minerals? Basically, fungi, this one has power to penetrate rocks also. So by breaking the rocks, it can penetrate its hyphae there, and later on mineral is absorbed. So fungi will provide water and mineral to algae. It's a plus point of fungi. This one provided by fungi. And what the algae do? Algae can synthesize its food with the help of these raw materials, plus it can intake water, it can intake air like CO2. It can intake CO2. With the help of CO2, water and these kind of minerals, enzyme get activated and the raw material CO2 and water get bind together with the help of sunlight, and ultimately there is synthesis of food. So food production is the work of algae. This food is provided to fungi as the reward, and here the fungi will provide the raw material to algae to synthesize food. So both are interdependent to each other, both provide plus kind of mechanism. This is mutualism. Now one more very important point regarding mutualism, I can also say these kind of interrelationship where both are benefited. There are many interrelationship like this, but what is the main point regarding this? If you separate out both the partner from each other, then they will die. So mutualism is the strong bonding between two organisms. They never can be separated. Now the point can come in your mind, ma'am, algae can survive lonely, fungi can also survive lonely, but not, my answer is but not in this extreme condition. On rock, only fungi cannot survive, only algae cannot survive. Just like that, under the snow, both can only survive. Okay? So, if they are separate out, they will die. By this point, you can get this conclusion. This is the strongest interrelationship. Now let me take the example or next point, second kind of interrelation. The second kind of interrelationship is called as commensalism. This is the interrelationship where one partner is benefited and other remains so you can say this one is plus zero kind of interrelationship. I can write the definition like this. You can take the example for this is about hermit crab and sea anemone. Sea anemone is a porifera, that's why it cannot move from one place to another. So because this one don't have any kind of locomotory organs, so sea anemone, the benefit is given to sea anemone is locomotion because of hermit crab. Exactly, this one get attached at the shell of a molluscan where hermit crab is found, and nothing is provided to hermit crab. Sometimes this one is usually said, this one is said that sea anemone has sting power, so this one provide various kind of protection to hermit crab, but that is basically not required by a crab. Crab has its own defending organisms and defending and as well as offending organisms, so there is no required protection like this. But sea anemone has to move from one place to another. And as we know, this one is porifera and it cannot move. So because by getting this one attachment, this can move from one place to another. So this one is the partner that get benefit, while this one is the partner that remains unaffected. So let us take the third example. third kind of interrelationship, which is known as parasitism. Now, parasitism is a kind of interrelationship between two organisms where one is benefited and other is harmed. So, this can represent like this, and I can write the definition like this. In this mechanism, the organisms that get benefited is called as pest, or you can term it as parasite. So better term is parasite, while which one is harmed is known as host. But one very important thing, in between this kind of interrelationship, it cannot die host, because parasite is totally dependent of host. If host will die, then definitely there will be death of parasites. So you can write, in this relationship, if host will die, then parasite will also die. So, or you can say, for the survival of parasite, there is requirement that host will also survive. Definitely there will be harm to host, but it will survive. I can write the example of Plasmodium, which is a malarial parasite, so that you can easily understand this kind of relationship. Plasmodium and human. Now you know very well what is malaria. Okay, so Plasmodium is a malarial parasite, so this one get benefited here. It will obtain nutrition from human blood and raise its amount, or you can say it will reproduce there, while human is a host. So this one get harmed, there will be loss to human and benefit to Plasmodium. And as a result, you can see there is a disease known as malaria. But it's not a death causing offense, you can see. Maybe that can be occur. It hardly matters. The death can be occur, but along with the death of human, all those parasites which are found in the human body, they will also die. But why I am telling about death again and again, you can understand it by the next point, that is predation. Actually, the definition is quite same. Here you can see it's an interrelationship between two organisms where one is benefited and another is lost, or another has lost with its life. There is loss of life by other will provide benefit to next one. So predation is a kind of interrelationship between two organisms where one eats to another. I can say right there. It's an interrelationship between two organisms where one eats other. So the organism that is eaten, it's called as predator, while the other organism that is eaten by predator is known as prey. And this interrelation is known as predation. You can write various examples here. Let me take the example of cat and rat. Actually, rat is the food of cat. So that will be a prey. It will lose its life and later on the benefit is given to predator. So this one is benefited while here this one is totally loss of its own life. That's why I am very emphasized on this point of death. I write here this one. In parasites, this one is, oh sorry, I write here plus and 0. Instead of plus and 0, I should write the point plus and minus. Let me clear this. It's plus and minus, not plus and 0. Okay, it's plus and minus kind of relationship. So let us take the next type of interrelationship, which is called as scavenging. It's an interrelationship where a dead animal is eaten by other organisms, or you can say it's an interrelationship between dead and decaying organic matter and the organisms which is its eaten. Actually, scavenging cannot be expressed like positive 0 because the other matter is the dead matter. So I can directly take the example of scavenger like vulture. You can write here the example of vulture or other organisms. Vulture, as we know, vulture is a scavenger. Why it's a scavenger? Because it cannot hunt, but it can eat flesh of dead organs. And act as the cleaner of our environment. So basically scavengers are also known as cleaner of our environment. So these are very important to us. You can write the example of crow, jackal, ant also, small tiny organism ant, that is also a scavenger. The next one is competition. It's the last kind of interrelationship, but not the least, because competition is found everywhere. You can feel that competition in your class, in your studies. Just take a bread and go to the street. If you throw that bread, maybe there are two dogs which can fight for that bread. So this kind of a competition can find everywhere. So you can write, I can write the definition of this one is, it's an interaction between two organisms for the same thing. Now two questions can arise in your mind. Does this always happen for same thing? Then what kind of thing these are? And the second one, what kind of organisms can fight from each other? Similar or dissimilar? I didn't write here dissimilar organisms or different organisms. Why? Because the competition can further classify into various categories. The first one is called as intraspecific competition. Intraspecific competition always happens in between two similar or same, you can say, organisms. And for same thing always. And this one is the strongest competition. Strongest competition. Now the question can arise, why it's strongest, ma'am? Then the answer is, it's the strongest because all the basic needs are same. All the basic needs are same for a dog because the food is same, the shelter may be same, and the mate, the mating partner, that can be same. While we discuss about two different kinds of organisms like a dog and a cow, food may be same. If you will give grass, then it cannot be eaten by a dog. But if you give a bread, then both can consume that. So basically, the competition can be like this, and this is, you can say, it's interspecific competition. Now you can write it's between two dissimilar or different, where the basic needs are maybe similar. because this one always happen in the first same thing. You can take the example for the intraspecific is bred between two dogs. Here, bred between dog and cow. And the next, not the least one, is called natural competition or competition with environment. You know very well you have to compete with environmental condition. There is winter, then shivering will start. So this is the basic example of environmental or natural competition. This competition can be very drastic, like in the way of volcanic eruptions or in the way of earthquake. You are helpless at that time. So this kind of competition can be just before a few. Here I can write the example. First I will write the definition: competition with environment. Example is winter. This is over about interrelationships. One more kind of interrelationship is found in between organism and its environment. Let me start this. Actually, this one cannot be classified as like this. But basically, the basic points are there. We can show various kind of metabolism. In the way of various metabolisms, these are seen. When you respire, you have to inhale air and exhale air. This one is a exchange of air in between organism and environment. Same like excretion. In that case, excretory product can be excreted out. In the way of nutrition, you will obtain the food material. Like a plant can synthesize its food by taking some abiotic component like water, gases, etc., minerals, etc., and other various kind of metabolism, transportation. So basically, during various kind of metabolism, there is interaction between biotic and abiotic component. In the other way, we have to face various climatic conditions. So for our survival, climatic condition, these are responsible to form habitat decay. So in the way of habitat, in the way of decay, we can see them. These are the basic conditions where organism and the abiotic component are correlated. Thank you everyone.